Hello everyone, and welcome to another Warhammer battle. It's been a little while since we've done this, but with Warhammer 3, the gameplay footage just coming out, I think this would be a perfect time for me to finally get back into the competitive ladder as I take the vampire accounts against the Dark Elves led by HankG at InnerCityCrackSales.net. This is actually my second time fighting Hank. He's a new friend of me on Steam, but we've had a few matches here. I'm just going to shamble my undead horde up to the front of his formation. He is going to try out a vampire Death Star build, so he has brought the Blackguard of Nagorond up here in his front line. He's got a Charybdis here. The Terror is not going to cause too much of an issue, but it does have poison and is anti-large. More Blackguard, so 3 of those bad boys. For his hero core, he has a Death Hag, which is going to be debuffing our melee attack, I believe. Yep, -5 with that Chill Blade. Morathi over here, she's a very competitive lord. Also giving a -9 melee attack and -9 melee defense to all units around her in 40 meters. And then they're going to stack that with the Blood Rack Shrine, which has another ability here. This one actually gives her allies 7 melee attack, and this one, the Aura of Agony, -4 leadership, not like that's going to matter against the undead, but -7 melee defense. So really just stacking on the melee debuffs and hoping to fight high and tight. And then they are supported by the Blades of the Blood Queen, these very dark, dastardly elves here. And finally a little unit of Dread Spears just to close out his back flank. So a very high and tight formation, doesn't leave a lot of room for maneuverability, but it doesn't need it given the power that Morathi has. As for my army, we have a ton of zombies, including the Tithe on the far flank over here. We have our dreaded Mortis engine, which I absolutely love this model. It's going to be a very key component to our victory here, the drain and the healing that it can provide. And then for our core, we have Heinrich Kemmler leading the forces with 2 White Kings as his bodyguard. He'll be looking to summon Krell, as well as keep our undead fighting in the front lines. The rest of it, just some skeleton warriors here, the Königstein Stalkers. I'm a big fan of these guys because they do have 60 armor as well as poison. And then deciding to bring some heavy infantry, we've got some Graveguard over here, and then we've also got Graveguard with great weapons on the right-hand flank, and some Skeleton Spearmen here to deal with his large units. And as well to deal with large, we also have 2 units of Blood Knights. I've tried experimenting in this matchup quite a few times with lots of Black Knights, a Shock Cavalry, and lots of Blood Knights. But I feel like this heavier infantry core would be better just to grind down against all the anti-large that he does have. We're going to use the Scabscrath from the White Kings, which does some decent damage, about a 1/6, I would say, to these Blackguard and Nagorond as he keeps blasting away my zombies here. I'm fine with him doing that, though. We're going to start to swarm and envelop him as I position my cavalry around his flanks. Cloud of Gash is taking some damage here, but it'll just heal all that up. We have zombies just to occupy the Blackguard and be annoying as we send in the Mortis engine, and this thing should start to get a lot of value. If I can just click on that there. Yeah, already starting to rack it up in the hundreds here, which is nice. About 200 now, 1,000 damage dealt, and it's also healing our forces. Looking here in the back line, our Blood Knights are going to go in for a charge on both flanks, going right into the back of these Blackguard of Nagorond, who are just tied up with the zombies. That's a lot of particle effects going on here, but thankfully when they do push them out like this, some of these Blackguard get pushed deep into our infantry, and they can take a lot of surround damage that way. We do have the Blood Rack Shrine pulling away now, but we can move in our Blood Knights and have them hop on her. And then if we go back to our front line here, Charybdis is getting all juiced up in the meat grinder as Krell fights off a bunch of Blackguard of Nagorond. Now the only thing I don't like about this game is just the sheer amount of particle effects going on here. Makes it very tough to really tell what's happening on the screen sometimes. I mean, you got these crackling effects of the zombies. Here we're going to charge up though a very powerful overcasted Wind of Death, and let's just watch as that just wreaks havoc through the Dark Elf line. It kills a couple of our zombies and Graveguard, but all in all, that was very worth it for the damage that was dealt there. If I can just get the unit cards back on. I'm actually not sure how to turn those back on. It looks like I turned those off right now. I think there was a key for that, but I have apparently forgotten it. But anyway, looking at the rest of the battlefield here, Blackguard and Nagorond are surrounded by Graveguard front and back with spears, and Great Guard with great weapons on both sides, so they are not long for this world as well. And around this point, Heinrich Kemmler is going to be singled out by that Charybdis. Krell has already done his damage. Krell is out of here, but as you can see, here comes another Scrath. Most of the enemy infantry is already whittled down. We've killed about 150 of them, actually about 200 now. We still have 900 of our own zombies, but just shows you the discrepancy in power there as our Mortis engine comes back into the battlefield here, looking to get some good damage and keep our troops high and alive. We have Kemmler now using Undeath Resurgent, giving melee defense to everything around him, and he is going to face off here against this Death Hag with his White Kings really close by, looking to hopefully take down Morathi. Now, each piece that we can take down will help us because it's getting rid of that melee attack and melee defense buff that the Dark Elves have, or a debuff, I should say. So if we can get rid of Morathi, I believe we already got rid of the Bloodrack Shrine. In fact, we did. I had my Blood Knights hop on that. We still have this Charybdis to deal with, and it is just punting our White Kings far away. And Heinrich Kemmler, though, surrounded by Morathi, the Death Hag, and the Charybdis. He is not long for this world as Morathi's Soul Stealer comes in. And there goes Heinrich Kemmler, falling down to the might of the Vampire Counts. But at this point, I realize, okay, my Mortis engine is going to be key to still winning this battle. It's going to keep all of our troops alive. We need to make sure that he can't just get an easy kill on that. And we see that these Blackguard come back, so I'm going to peel off some of the Tithe. These brave undead zombies going in for a charge, some of them missing their heads. Blood Knights and the Mortis engine are going to crash right into the Blackguard of Naggarond, and they shall surely fall here. The Tithe themselves not doing much damage, but being the meat shields that we need them to be, and they will start to run away. The Charybdis is going to try to catch us, but realizes it can't, and it is now surrounded by the Tithe. I really like the Tithe. They're only 200 gold, so they're very cheap. They have more zombies, I believe, than the standard zombie unit, so it also gives them more health, and they have better melee stats. Not like that really matters with zombies, of course. We still have a few Blood Knights hanging around. Our White Kings are going to fight Morathi now, supported by zombies. Morathi is pretty much alone right now. It's just 23 Dark Elves versus 800 of our undead, and I don't think she has too much of a hope of getting through this. The Charybdis is starting to waver, as is the Death Hag, who is now running away, and our two White Kings should be more than enough to seal the fate of Morathi herself. If she tries to capture, or tries to use another spell there, but I'm not sure what happened. Looks like it got cancelled. Nope, there it goes off. Her Soul Stealer, I think that is. And she's going to start to run away now. She is shattered. And that will be the battle. So very good game to HankG at InnerCityCrackSales.net. I've been trying to work out on how to beat the Dark Elf Death Star for a long time now. As you can see, Morathi did get 178 kills, 4,200 damage value. So she was really the crux of his army. Death Hag doing about 1,013 damage. I think she probably paid for herself there. I'm not sure how much she costs off the top of my head. Blackguard and Naggarond, though, getting some decent damage value in as well, pretty much paying for themselves, even though they were mostly just fighting zombies. But the Graveguard definitely were a big target for them, and they were able to drag down the Blood Knights quite a bit. Overall, though, Mortis Engine getting 1,605 damage value, 7,000 damage dealt is very nice, considering that the Dark Elves don't have that many models in the first place. Kemmler here, 1,500 damage value. He basically paid for himself, although we did have to use a lot of magic for that to happen. Our two White Kings, though, these guys are only like 650 gold, I believe, when you kit them out with only Scabscrath. So them getting 1,400 gold here and about 1,660 there. Very good stuff. They don't have that many kills, but it's that damage value that really matters. And did the Tithe pay for themselves? No, they didn't. Only 65 damage value. But hey, that's half of their value almost. Other zombies, this one getting 89, so it basically paid for itself. Overall, though, a good game to HankG, and I hope to fight you again in the future.